responses is also part of the Strategies for Study Success workbook series, which teaches students strategies for test-taking, note-taking, organization, summarizing, and writing. Written responses is the fourth part of our writing series, which starts with simple paragraphs, then moves to extended paragraphs, then 5-paragraph essays, and finally written responses. The Simple Paragraph book teaches students how to write simple paragraphs that are comprised of 5 sentences, topic sentence, 3 detail sentences, and a conclusion sentence. In the Extended Paragraphs book, we teach students how to add supporting detail sentences after each one of their details. Then in the 5-paragraph essay book, we teach students how to express their thoughts in the form of a well-organized 5-paragraph essay, which includes an introduction paragraph, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion paragraph. Now, in written responses, we teach students how to write written responses to essay prompts in the form of a 5-paragraph essay. In this book, students will read various passages on controversial topics, such as school uniforms and legal age requirements. They will highlight the key information from the passage, which presents both sides of the argument on that particular issue. And they will then respond to a question in the form of a 5-paragraph essay. Before we move into the written responses book, it's important that we review some key concepts from the 5-paragraph essay book, which is the book that comes before the written responses book. Let's take a look inside the book. We start by reminding students that anytime we write, first we brainstorm, then we write, and then we always go back and self-check our work. Now let's look at what a 5-paragraph essay is made of. It starts with the introduction paragraph, which is comprised of the opening, the lead-in, and the thesis statement. Then there are 3 body paragraphs, and then a conclusion paragraph. Because many students have trouble beginning their essays, let's review 5 options for how students can start writing their 5-paragraph essays. They can start with a question, like, have you ever climbed a mountain? They can start with a general statement, like wearing a seatbelt can help protect your life. They can start with a quotation, like a wise man once said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They can start with an opposite statement, like many people believe that all healthy foods are healthy. Or they can start with a story. For example, it was close to dusk and I was in the mood to go on a hike. Nobody was home at the time, so I decided to hike on the trail behind our house by myself. Leaving quickly, I forgot to grab a flashlight or my whistle. After hiking for about an hour, it became very dark. Suddenly, before my eyes, I saw a bear standing in front of me. It may be helpful to have your students practice starting different essays using these 5 different options. Now let's review how to write a thesis statement. The thesis statement is always the last sentence of the introduction paragraph in a 5-paragraph essay. It is comprised of 2 parts, the opinion and the plan. For example, snowboarding is a great sport because it is fun, social, and athletic. The opinion here is snowboarding is a great sport. Notice we don't say I think or I feel or in this essay I will prove. It's very bold and very confident. Because it is fun, social, and athletic is the plan, and that sets the stage for what each of the body paragraphs are going to be about. If we look at this inverted triangle, we can see here that we're now putting together all of the elements to form the introduction paragraph. As a reminder, we start with the opening, which were those 5 choices for how to begin. Then we have the lead-in, which are 3 to 6 sentences that lead up to the thesis statement. And finally, we end our introduction paragraph with a thesis statement, which is comprised of 2 parts, the opinion and the plan. Whenever we write a 5-paragraph essay, we should always brainstorm, then write, and then self-check our work. Let's review how to brainstorm for a 5-paragraph essay. If we take a look at page 21, we'll see a sample of a brainstorm web for a 5-paragraph essay. In this case, the student should write out his or her opening, write out the thesis statement, write in what each of the body paragraphs will be about, and then branch out with supporting details surrounding each one of those detail bubbles. You might want to have your student practice brainstorming for different essays before beginning to write an actual essay. It's important to also review how to self-check the student's writing. CTOPS is a great checklist for self-checking. The C stands for capitalization. T is tense. The student should make sure he or she has a consistent past or present tense. O is organization. The student should make sure there is an opening, a lead-in, a thesis statement, and so on. P is for punctuation, and S is for spelling. When we write 5-paragraph essays, there are typically 4 types of essays that we come across: example, process, reason, and compare-contrast. An example essay gives examples, like wars, U.S. presidents, or items found in a classroom. A process essay describes a process, like how to change a tire or how to make a bed. The reason paragraph expresses a reason, like why summer should be longer. And the compare-contrast essay compares and contrasts 2 items. For example, summer versus winter, or New York versus Chicago. Now that we have a background of the key elements to a 5-paragraph essay, we're ready to take a look inside the Written Responses book. The Written Responses book begins with the review of the key elements of a 5-paragraph essay. On page 1, the book reviews what a 5-paragraph essay is made of, which is the introduction paragraph, 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion paragraph. The book then reviews how to brainstorm for a 5-paragraph essay, and 5 different options for how a student might begin writing his or her essay. Finally, the book reviews CTOPS, which is a great acronym for self-checking the student's essay. CTOPS, again, stands for capitalization, tense, organization, punctuation, and spelling. When students complete the passages in this book, the first step is to read the passage which presents 2 sides to a particular argument. The student should just highlight in yellow key information from that passage. Next, the student will read the essay prompt, which is a question that the student will be required to answer in the form of a 5-paragraph essay. Let's look at a sample together. The directions say, read the passage below. Then brainstorm, write, and self-check a written response to the question beneath the passage in the form of a 5-paragraph essay. I'm going to read this passage, which presents 2 sides of an argument. The school year in the United States is roughly 10 months long. This may seem lengthy, but from the perspective of other countries, the United States actually has a shorter school year than the rest of the developed world. Most countries have school years ranging from 200 to 250 days. Recently, the federal government has proposed a possible increase in the number of school days in the United States. There has been talk of either increasing the number of days per week students attend school or shortening the summer vacation time. These possible changes are based on international studies that have demonstrated that the United States students' test scores are lower than those of students in some other countries. Many factors contribute to this disparity between test scores, including different curricula and teaching methods, but one important factor seems to be the number of days students attend school each year. Many professionals in the education field believe that lengthening the school year will improve student performance in the United States. They feel that more hours of instruction will benefit students by allowing them to participate in extracurricular activities and other classes that can supplement the subjects they are learning. In contrast, opponents to this plan feel that a longer school year will result in decreased performance because students will become overwhelmed with schoolwork and classes and consequently less likely to study for exams and complete their assignments. They feel that the extra days will also have a negative impact on teachers who are already overworked. Now that we've read this passage, the student should then read the written response question. In this case, it reads, do you feel that an extended school year in the United States would ultimately benefit students and result in higher test scores? Why or why not? It's very important that the student begins by brainstorming before writing, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. Again, the student should always brainstorm, write, and self-check this written response. In this case, let's take a look at a sample brainstorm web on page 5. Here, for the student's essay, he or she put in, have you ever wondered whether students would perform better if they were in school longer? As the opening. For this thesis statement, we see, I feel that school administrators should not increase the school day or year in the United States because emphasis should be placed on quality and not quantity. Students need time to relax, and teachers need a break as well. Notice that we have an opinion and a plan in this thesis statement. Then inside each of the bubbles, we have quality, not quantity, time to relax, and teachers need a break. Branching out of the first bubble, which is for our first body paragraph, we have unique techniques, engage students, and increase performance. For the second paragraph, which is time to relax, we have already exhausted, decompress, and family time. And for our third paragraph, which is teachers need a break, we have already swamped, create lessons, and less energy. Now let's take a look at the sample essay that the student wrote in response to this question. Have you ever wondered whether students would perform better if they were in school longer? The idea of increasing the school year for elementary, junior high, and high school students throughout the United States has recently come into light as a method of increasing student test scores and class performance. Many people feel that students in other developed nations score higher on tests because they attend school for longer intervals throughout the year. They feel that longer school intervals give students additional opportunities to interact with their teachers and receive more in-depth instruction. I feel that school administrators should not increase the school day or year in the United States because emphasis should be placed on quality and not quantity. Students need time to relax, and teachers need a break as well. Now the first body paragraph. It is not the length of time that students stay in class, but the quality of the teaching that students receive during the school day that make the difference in their performance. Teachers must efficiently engage their students using interesting techniques and strategies to captivate their attention. As a result, students will become more cooperative and willing to learn. In turn, their test scores and overall school performance will improve. Now the second body paragraph. With our current system, many students feel exhausted from the demands of listening in class all day and then completing homework assignments. They need time to relax after school and decompress over the summer. Otherwise, they may become overwhelmed and unable to process information as well without these built-in breaks. Thus, the quality of their education as well as the ability of students to learn will decrease. A shorter summer break will also deprive children of valuable family time that is, in itself, a learning experience that they cannot receive in the classroom. The third body paragraph. Another reason why school days should not be lengthened is because teachers already have full loads on their plates. They must plan lessons, teach all day, and score tests and homework at night. They also need time after school and on weekends to create curricula that will best educate their students. If teachers are constantly in the classroom teaching, they will have no time to organize and create these lessons. They may also feel overwhelmed and less energetic with longer school time. And the conclusion paragraph. Ultimately, although proponents for longer school sessions present strong arguments regarding its effectiveness, I feel that the negative impact of longer school sessions far outweigh these possible benefits. There are many other steps that school administrators can take to increase student performance and ensure that the academic performance of students in the United States meet or exceed those of their international counterparts. We've taken a look at this brainstorm web. We've also taken a look at the student's sample essay. It's very important that the student always finishes by self-checking the essay. If we notice here on page 6, the student checked off the C for capitalization, the T for tense, the O for organization, the P for punctuation, and the S for spelling. As students progress through this book, They will notice passages containing different controversial topics. The student should always read the passage, highlight the key information from that passage, read the written response question, and then brainstorm, write, and self-check a 5-paragraph essay which answers that particular written response question. As students complete more and more of these exercises, they will become easier for them. Students will also find many types of exercises like this, not only in their classrooms, but also on various standardized tests. These exercises will help them across the board with their essay writing performance.